All right, let's get started. I have a plan on something I'm going to do until everybody gives me better ideas. So, right now, I'm just going to make a memory match game because I think that'd be a good marketplace plugin. The reason why is like something that would be like a good mini game thing. I don't know. I could imagine like people might want like easy to add mini games to their games, stuff that is quick to rebrand and doesn't necessarily need a really specific flow. Like it can just kind of pop in and pop out. And a memory match game just sounds like a fun challenge. However, I'm here to make your game, so you give me a better idea and we'll do it. Let's go with blank. Let's go with blank. And we'll call this one live stream because I don't know what you guys are going to make me do. And we're just doing blueprints for this one for now. I hate how Windows just takes over your desktop anymore. It feels like such an invasion of privacy. Just have to go, oh, no, I decided that your desktop is different now. I miss the old Windows where it was just like you being you, where you could just have control over your computer without something from the internet coming in and attacking it all the time. We used to call that viruses. All the stuff, all the cookies stuff, man, it's so crazy. Everybody's like, it's Unreal's loading, by the way. It's just loading on my other monitor. Here it is. Everybody was like, oh, you have to get all the spyware off your computer. And we would like purposely flush the cookies to get rid of spyware. Now it's just like normal. They're like, yeah, cookies track you. It's fine. It's not fine. Like that was normal. Like that was normal to get rid of them. It was normal to think that was malicious behavior. And now it's like Windows itself wants to track you. It's like we're tracking you, right? You have to like opt out of the tracking. And I'm not like a super crazy privacy dude, but like there's a point where it's like stop using my computer power, my internet to tell you how to sell stuff better to me when I'm tired and hungry and really easy to sell stuff to. Let's see. So I had just updated 5.5. So that's why it's compiling shaders. Well, that plus it's a new one. I told myself I wasn't going to work today on anything, but then I was like, if I'm just messing around on a live stream, that's not work, is it? That's play. So I am playing. Let's make a new level. Let's make it an empty level and start making stuff for it. For this memory match game, first thing we're going to need is something clickable to be the card. And there's a couple different ways to do it. Probably probably the easiest way to do it would be for now. Let's go ahead and make it just a clickable square Just one step at a time here. And let's make it 0.2, 0.2, 0.8, 0.1, 0.1, 0.3, 4, 0.5. That's about 5 by 8. That's about a card. Whoosh, I got my camera on fast. Okay. And so one way to do a front and back is to like draw a UV map for for the shape itself and make it actually be a card with a front and a back. I think it'll be easier just to, it's a little thick. I think it would be easier to kind of put a picture on the front and the back as we do it. That way, it's easier. What I'm thinking is, I want it to be easy for people to just drop their own pictures into this. So if we'll worry about pictures in a second. So let's actually no, let's worry about pictures now. Let's add a sprite. Let's do a scene component. And we're going to do front of card. Yeah. We'll put it there for now. And then we're going to add another one. Actually, let's just duplicate that. Back of card. And we're going to move it to the back. And I'm going to flip it around 180 degrees. All right. And the reason that matters is because I want people to be able to just kind of drop in what they need and resize it as they go. So what we can do, let's go ahead and put some test stuff in here. Folder, test images. Yeah, I've got my little asset pack that's just a whole bunch of like easy to use, ready to go for Unreal UI. Where did I put it? I have it like I'm trying to add it the short way instead of the long way. Here's my weather icons. Maybe I can just use those. Let's do that. Let's make it that's what I've got available. Let's do that. Let's do the weather icons. Square assets are very useful for mobile. Sure. Okay. It's so much faster without working with Perforce. Forget how responsive the engine is when it doesn't have to say everything it's doing online. So let's add. Oh, let's convert them to sprites. Probably the best way to do that. So I've got it as a scene component. It could just do just the sprites, but I like the idea of having something to parent the sprite to that they can just add, like that we can hook into the abstracts at some, because they might not want to use a sprite. They might just want to actually build card material or change the mesh, and so I'm trying to keep it as abstracted as possible. Let's see. Shift and sprite actions, create sprites. Oh, I had to diagnose why that was green. Can't remember now. Some weird channel issue. Let's do. I like that night sky. Sunny day, stormy night, good stuff. This will be good. Okay. Card here. We're gonna add sprite, paper sprite on the front of the card. And let's try cloudy night. Whoa, it's huge. That's all right. What we can do is wow, it's way, 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 way bigger. Okay. We can position it. So I know that's not the perfect form factor, but we're just going for something that works. Let's do the same. Let's duplicate that and parent it to the back of the card. Swap this to day. I may have had them backwards. Yeah, I may have been flipped around backwards there. All right. I've got the front of the card as night and the back of the card as day. That won't be confusing at all. And that's good enough for government work for now. I always say don't perfect anything until you're actually committed to the code. When you sit there straightening BP lines, pixel perfecting stuff, and then you end up deleting it anyway because you find out a better way to do it. Prototype it, test it, see if it's going the way you want it to go before you spend all the time perfecting it. So that's good enough for government work here. And we're going to do the cube. First off, I'm going to take off the collisions on these sprites. I have a feeling that's going to be a problem. And it's just more to load in. I only want collision on the cube itself, which we're going to rename this card. And on clicked. Let's make a bool. Call it flipped. Or, no, you know what? That's ambiguous. Face up. Okay, we're going to just do a flip-flop. I'm probably going to change my mind about this later. Let's do that. Is a... No. Okay. Face up, face down. All right. And let's go ahead. Begin play. We're going to want to get world transform. UE5 made that so much harder. You got a lot more options, but I end up clicking the wrong thing all the time. Promote it to a variable. Starting position. Why do I do it this way? Because I don't want to have to hard code it. I want to be able to move it around. I want to be able to dynamically set them in a grid. And being able to do that, like just having the starting position there, I can do whatever I need to do with spawning these cards or whatever, and I'm always going to know where it started no matter what. All right, so we're going to set transform. Ew. Let's try to sweep it here, see what happens. Okay. But that's actually wrong, because this is what I want it to do, and this is what I want it to change to. So what I need to do is to get this, and then I need to break it. And then I need to so let me think. My X is what I need to rotate by 180 degrees. So I'm going to add 180 degrees. I don't know. I always do this wrong the first time. So you got it. Stop me. I'm wasting time. Same location, same starting position scale. Ooh, we could do things where we like blow it up bigger, stuff like that. New Z, same. All right. Let's add a light here. So forgive me, I've been working in UE4 lately, so I'm all like, every time I get back in UE5, I'm like, oh yes, it's better. I like it much better, but I forget where little stupid things are. I'm going to add a directional line. And I'm going to give us some sort of all right. of us are testing map. Not very committing when it comes to saying this is going to be the map. Oh yeah, we need to create some sort of way to see it. For right now, let's just do it in the level until we decide kind of more specifics. So what I'm going to do is just get player controller. You know, if this is going to be a full proper game, you'd want to actually like start making your player controller class and stuff. But we're just going to set cursor, set show mouse cursor to true. All right. And as expected, something went wrong. Okay, so we get in the starting position. On clicked card, that's what I suspected. Aha, I bet it's not making it through the sprite. Huh. So I've done a little bit of everything, but sometimes it's been a minute since I've done it. So let's see. I need to make sure that the card is clickable first off. Block all dynamic. Oh, it's because I'm not doing the on component clicked. That's it. Well then. Bad time not to remember why this isn't working. Back. Type. Can't remember. There's probably a way, probably a reason. Something like enable for 3D space, or there's probably some player controller thing. Let's go ahead and make a player controller. Show mouse cursor. Yes. Enable click events. That's that stupid. I knew it was something dumb like that. Enable touch. Enable mouse over events. All right. Now, let's go to my world settings. I need to make a new game mode. Packaging. Nope. My brain's in the wrong spot right now. Maps and modes. There we go. Yeah, so I need to make a new game mode. Simple names, love it. And then here I can set my player controller to PC. There we go. And then I can go here. Actually read what I'm doing. Let's go ahead and change this in case it gets closed out on me. Testing map. And let's change this to GM, and then everything should be peachy. No game mode overrides. That should fix it. Boom. There we go. It's that simple. Hey, that changed transform. It made it skinny. That's fine. Okay, let's figure out why. That worked almost exactly how I thought it was going to work, except it's skinny now. So I don't need that anymore. I'm just noodling from scratch here, so I'm gonna forget little dumb things from time to time. All right, so we've got clickable game events, which is a very important part of making a clickable game. And what happens here, that flips back and forth. Exactly what I want. So the transform, new starting position scale. What if we just left that 111? Where you can see it. Boom, boom. Why does it get small? Okay, something's going on with the scale here. So when I say the starting position, I'm saving the starting position of the card, not the whole, and then I'm applying it to the whole thing. Let's see, now it's mad. That's why. It's always something dumb. It's never something, well, okay, it is sometimes something really stupid hard, but most of the time it's something dumb. That should fix that. There we go. Now we've got flippable cards. Let's see. So for the next thing, we're going to make a grid of flippable cards. But first I want to add something else to this. What would be the easiest way trying to bring you on my thought process here. The easiest way, if we're doing a memory match game and we want to make sure the card is the same type, what would be the easiest way when someone's rewiring this to work for their game to just give a type of card? If we did an enum, it's way too specific, and we're going to have a huge enum if they have a really big game. We could just do a tag, but I want it to just like almost be drag and drop. Like I want them to just be able to say, okay, this is my memory match game, and this type of card is this type of card. Okay, so it's the back of the card, right? The front of the card's always going to be the same, but the back of the card's always going to be different. So let's do the back of the card. I mean, yeah. Because that's it. Because if you got the same back of the card, you got the same cards. I'm a fan of straight logic. I don't like it to be... I don't like it to be where everything is just way too wiggly. I don't like having thing after thing after thing after thing after thing after thing. I don't like long chains of dominoes when you don't need it. So we're going to get the display name. And then we're going to promote the variable. And so the reason I'm abstracting it to a variable, because we could just do it straight from the display name. But if I want somebody to take this and to do something different with it, what I'm going to want them to be able to do is to like hook in somewhere and go, no, I want my identifier to do this. And then they can change this wherever they want it. But they'll be able to kind of easily come in here and see too, like, oh, it's being set by the name of, let's rename that to back of card sprite. All right, so now the actual display name of the sprite will be the card type. And that makes sense. And let's go ahead and let's print it. Actually, let's create an event dispatcher. And let's just say card flipped. And let's add a thingy to that. Let's add an input. A string, and it will be card type. Again, I want it to be a string because I want them to be able to add like 50 cards, 100 cards, or whatever, without having to have some hard set enumerator or something that they've got to go in and edit. I want it to be very dynamically editable. So all right. So now, when the card is flipped, we're going to have an event dispatcher that fires when the card is flipped, and now we got the start of a game. No, I've got it wrong. I've got it on the wrong one. When it's flipped, that's this one. There we go. Okay, so the next thing, so we're gonna go blueprint class actor grid manager. A friend of mine, every time we made something in Unreal, we would name like all the managers Karens. And that was a lot of fun until like we'd get back a couple weeks later and we were like, okay, where's this manager? And we'd forget that they were all named Karen. Which would make more sense if like Karens are the things that talk to the managers. Maybe that's why we didn't remember. Okay, so in the construction script, we want to add a component. But specifically, we want to add a child. Is it child? Add a child actor component. Yes, that's what I would like. And wait. We're going to set this child actor class to be a, what did I call the cards? A card. That's what I called the cards. There we go. And I'm shooting from the hip. I've this is years of doing this stuff, but like I didn't go through and go, okay, we're gonna do this and this and this. I'm just making it up right now. All right, so the manager's not in there. So when I add the grid manager, yes, 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 beautiful. All right. So let's delete the card. Now let's just mess with the grid manager. And again, I'm not worried about where the level is going to be or anything. I'm just worried about pure functionality right now. So with the grid manager, we can do is we can make it to where it adds space based off how many you want. So what we need is some exposed variables. Get some exposure here. So let's make a amount of cards, which is not a Boolean. That is an integer. And then, so now we can do a for loop. No, not a for each loop, a for loop. So if should we start on a whole number or not? I don't know. We'll decide that later. Okay. We're going to add a child component for each one, but then we're going to take the relative transform and we're going to add in Y space. So I was hoping people would jump on in the middle of this live stream and be like, let's make this. And be like, yeah, let's do it. But way better if I'm making something as opposed to nothing. So if you watch the stream later and you're like, ooh, I want you to do this the next time you do this kind of live stream, let me know in the comments. And you probably will be the one I'm doing it for. But we'll pick the coolest, best one to do in a night. So try to name something that like we can do in a few hours, as opposed to like I can't just make Final Fantasy 29 in 3 hours. It's not gonna work. But there is a lot of things I'm willing to try that might be more complicated. So don't worry, it doesn't have to be like dirt simple. But okay, so with the relative transform, let's break. Not the link. Let's split the struct. Oh, well, I'm going to have to break the link to split the struct. Split struct pin. And then for the location, split struct pin. Okay. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to make a location. Next card location. Then we're going to do, so the amount of cards needs to be exposed. There we go. Next card location, and that's not an integer, that is a vector. And then we're going to do, we don't need to do rotation. The rest will be the same. So we're going to split struct pin, and then if the index is equal to 0, no, I'm overthinking this. It's just got to plug right in. Let's not split the struct. Recombine the struct pin here. So we're going to do the same rotation, same scale. What we are going to do is a different next card location. But that is going to, before this starts, we're going to set the next card location be the very first location here. And then the loop will start. And then after it sets it, then we're going to add, right now an arbitrary, ooh. We just need to make this a float. And this will be called spacing. And then we're just going to we're going to set the next card location. We're going to split the struct pins, and we're going to get the next card location, split the struct pins, and we're going to do X to X, Z to Z, and Y we're going to do plus, nope, that's an equal sign, plus the spacing. And the spacing, I'm going to expose it, and I'm going to make it 10 for default. 20. I don't know. Whatever I do is not going to be the right number. So let's just get one in here and test it. All right. So when I go back to the map here, the grid manager is here. Why are you hiding my variables? No, yeah. Details viewer. There we go. Sorry. Again, I've been in UE4 a whole lot lately, and so now I'm all out of sorts for UE5. It's a weird swap. When you go back and forth, it's like, because it's so close, your brain doesn't really recognize that you're not in the same place until you start looking for like how to build a project. And you're like, why isn't it in this drop down? Let's see. Amount of cards, let's say 5. Ooh. That did what I wanted, kinda. Grid manager. Let's not do Y. Y to Y. Let's do X. Compile, save. There we go. And then we can go to spacing. We can make it like 50. 80. There we go. There we go. See? And then we can do another thing in the grid manager that's called row length. And this can be an int, not a float. And what this will do is every time this divided by wait. It's a way to check for remainders. Divisor and whole remainder. Okay. So every time the row length, we'll just turn them into floats. Floats on the fly. Every time the row length and the index has a remainder of 0, give myself some space to work here. Is exactly equal to 0. Except the first time. No, the first time I want it to too. Okay, because the row length is going to be something like, let's give it a default value. Something like 8. Okay. We want to add this right here. Okay, it's going to be the next card location. So the next card location, I'm going to set the next card location to be, if it's false, we just want it to continue on. If it's true, we want to get this. But we want the spacing to apply to we want X, split struct pin. We want X to be normal. Ooh, yeah, we need X to be the original from here. Because it's got to go back to the original location. So X is going to be the original. Y is going to be minus the spacing. And Z is going to be from the original. It shouldn't matter if it's from either, but from the original. That will put it back in the front row, but down. And then ideally, I don't like doing these in two. Let's collapse this to a function. Call it set card. All right, let's see what mess I did over here. Okay, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's change the amount of cards to 16. This should give me 2 rows. It does give me 2 rows, just not the way I wanted it to. But that's, I'm not mad. That's close. I'm making a memory match game. Unless somebody's got a better idea. But I need to be able to just like build a grid of cards, because I want anybody to be able to like just use it as like a plugin from the asset store and just build whatever memory match game they want. And this memory match game sets a card. And I want it to not be the X location is right. It's the Z location that needs the subtraction. So we're going to put in the original Y. We're going to put the Z location as different. That's better. And it does the spacing. But what we can do is let's make another one. Another thing for spacing. Duplicate this, call this X spacing padding. And what we need to do here is we need to add these together. It gives you a little more granular control. So it doesn't expect everything to be a square. There we go. And now I can do things like the amount of cards can be 46. Oh, yeah. 19. Yeah. 22. Beautiful. There we go. I have built a grid system that auto creates as I go, all based off this card manager. So let's go ahead and make that 24. Okay, so then what we can do is we can make we can clear class. Actor, we're going to make this a score manager. First off, we're going to do a single player. We might get an multiplayer tonight. I don't know. It depends on how excitable I'm feeling. I love making a multiplayer is going to be no problem. Because right now, all we're doing is writing down scores. We might need to change exactly where and how they're written down, but we're just going to do this we're going to start with a single player score. So let's see. I love this grid. I love making grids. I don't know why. It's really, really, really satisfying. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is the beginning of the game. We need to get all actors of a class. And actually, maybe we'll just get an actor of the class. Let's just get the game manager. Get actor of class. Not the game manager, the grid manager. I'm gonna get the grid manager. And then we're going to no, but I need to do, I know there's a way, again, I'm doing all this off the top of my head. I know there's a way to get all the child actors by class. And because we're doing this dynamically, I got to be able to just do it at runtime. Okay, you know what? Since it's a child actor, I don't remember if it will get all the child actors of class. Let's see if we can just go directly to the source. Get the cards. I'm going to print the length here. Drop in the score manager. 42. And that's how many cards we have. Okay, it does see the child actors. I wasn't sure if it was going to have a obfuscation. I don't know. That's not the right word. I wasn't sure if it was going to work the way I wanted it to, but it will. This will work the way I want it to. So we get worried about the grid manager. That has everything to do with putting cards on the table. It's nothing to do with the game. Okay, so for every actor, I want to bind event where's my custom one? What did I call it? Card flipped. Card flipped. And then we're going to called call this the last card flipped, and then I'm gonna make a new custom event. I don't know, I'm making this up as I go. I think this will work. What we're gonna do is we're gonna read the name of the card flipped, which is dynamically set based off the name of the picture they put on, and it will just make sure and see if the pictures match. And if they do match the last two card flips, then it will find any card that's flipped and flip them back over. That's the plan. So compare flipped cards. Okay, so but I need to make sure it's done twice. So click once and it'll do that. So let's go ahead and add card. Flipped counter. Okay. Give 0 cards flipped. Add 1 to it. So I'll have 1 card flipped. Okay. First thing I need to do is duplicate that. We'll do previous card flipped. Last card. Okay. Let's think about the order here. So I flip a card. I want to write down what card it is, write down what order it is, and then I want to decide, is this the first card flipped? No. Okay. Flip count. Yep. I'm making this too hard. It's really simple. I need to decide what I'm doing. I flip it, and then I make a decision. I say, is this equal to 2? And then instead of last card flip, I'm going to call this first card. 2, wait, so 0 to 1, and then 1 to 2. So it's whole numbers. Okay, so is this equal to 2? No, then this is the first card flipped. Let's just go ahead and do that. Okay. So then the first card flipped is what we're setting. And then if it is equal to 2, and then we need to rename this second card flipped. And then the card type, we're actually setting the second card. Then what we're doing is we need to call compare flip cards. See if the first card and the second card are exactly equal. If they are, then we need to be able to disable cards. I just figured out. So I'm going back to the card, disabled. Okay, we're going to get disabled. If disabled is false, then we'll flip the card. All right. Or here +1. So if they're the same, then we're going to set the score to be the score +1. And then let's just go ahead and print it for now. And then we'll need to get all actors of a class. Aha. I might need to save their references. No. Yes, that's different, because the card type being the same is one thing, but saving their references will do something different for me. So that's what we're going to do. Let's check. Can you hear me? Did I unmute? Okay, good. I just had a fear I never unmuted my mic. There we go. That's why I had that fear. It's because I actually had my headphone settings to the wrong thing. Okay. So I haven't decided how I want to. Let's just worry about the score right now, because we're going to want to get the references of these cards. We're going to want to disable those cards and blah, 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 blah. This is so satisfying. Love it. I love it so much. Okay. So is the score manager in there? The score manager is in there. And the score manager is binding all these events. And it's saving. I'm not actually calling the compare flip cards. I need to call that. And then part of what I need to do is then I need to get the flipped counter. I need to set that back to 0. That's actually pretty important for making everything work. So many little steps. Boom. Aha. So the names are not the same because it actually isn't. It's actually numbering the sprites differently. So that changes. What I want to do. Oh yeah, so what we can do is we can make it to where the card manager will decide the different types of cards, and it can build an array and shuffle them. Yeah, there's all sorts of cool stuff we can do with this. So for the card type right now, we're not going to do the display name. That obviously doesn't work. We're just going to call this Knight. And that should fix it. So I should get a point every single time I flip 2 cards. Knight. Point. Yep. 2 points. 3 points. I'm so good at this memory match game. Oh, this is really satisfying. Okay. What I want to do too, if they don't match, I want to flip them back over. Just go to the score manager. I'll need to pass a reference to the card. That's what I need to do. So let's go back to the card. This event dispatcher, it gets mad when you change it. It's gonna get mad. So all right, let's add a card. EP object reference. Okay, flipped card. Yep, it got mad. I'm gonna feed yourself into here. Look at you, that's you right there. Okay. And so now in the score manager, we have compare flip cards. Okay. Okay. We're going to promote variable. I'm saving the card type separately. I could do it all off the same reference. I haven't decided if I want to do it that way or not. But right now, let's just get this and then promote this to variable. And we'll just follow suit with what we did. I'm not 100% sure this is the best way to do it, but I know this will work right now. We're going to call it second. Flipped card ref. Because I could really just do the references and then grab the names and then not pass the names through. And that's probably what I'll end up doing. But for now, I've already got it working this other way. We're going to promote to variable again, and we're going to call this the first flip card. All right, so the second flip card, first flip card. And then we're going to, if they're both done, what we're going to do is we're going to disable them. That disabled. You've seen the IT crowd. If you have, you know exactly what I'm talking about right now. Okay, set disabled. What did I name it? Why do I never name things? Diablo. Shoot me now. Disabled. It could be a conflicting name. Blah, 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 blah. Stay flipped. Keep it simple, stupid. Okay. And then we're going to set stay flipped. We're going to set it to be true, torpedo style. And that's if they match. If they don't match, then all I need to do is set that turns them back over. I'm going to make a custom Flip. Well, I'm just going to flip them. Tap into what's already working and flip them. Flip. And flip. Torpedo style. No score change. Just flip them back over. All right, so let's go back to my grid. I love this grid. I'm going to... let's see how many I can put in this grid before I test it, because I'm feeling dangerous. That's the score manager. Let's grab the grid manager, which is right here. Amount of cards, 725. Oh, shnikes. It worked. And the and the spacing, no, not the spacing. We need the amount of, that's the amount of cards. Oh, I didn't expose it. Well, that's a mistake. Let's fix that real quick. Grid manager. If the row length needs to be exposed. Wow. It's really mad because it's adding 750 cards every time I do something. Okay. So we're going to change the row length to 56. I don't know. These numbers don't make sense. Boom. Yeah. Yeah. I love auto making grids. It's just good stuff. Okay. So let's make this a normal number again. Let's make it 24. And row length will be 8. Boom. All right. So let's try the game. Let's see what the heck happens. Flip, flip. I get a point, and I can't flip them anymore. That's good. Now I can't test a negative because they're all the same card right now. So one way to do that, I'm just gonna break it real quick on purpose. So if I do the display name again, then we know all those are different. So that will break it. And then I will know if they flip back after 2 cards. Boom, boom. Oh, it does it way too fast. So it's working, but it's working immediately. I should do a timer, but no one wants to sit and watch me do that. Okay, so let's call it 2 seconds and then flip them back over. Okay. I should disable input. I'll do that later. There we go. Okay, so that works. Disabling input is something I can do when I'm feeling more responsible. There's a time. There's a time for it. It's just not right now. So that works. So now what we need to do in the card manager. So the way this works, if you're just tuning in, I can build a grid of any amount of cards. And every card has a front and a back and a name, like a card type. This is a memory match game. So if the card types match, it stays flipped and you get a point. If these card types don't match, they flip back. Yes, there's a lot more complicated ways we can do it, but right now that is the way. So rename this back tonight. But we want to do it to where the card manager shuffles in a certain amount of matches. And I'm shooting from the hip here. I'm just figuring this out as I go. Okay. Yeah. So what we want to do is the card manager can dynamically set the type before it does anything and then shuffle based off the number of cards we have. That'll do it. Okay, so grid manager. This is where the construction script's running. All the magic happens here. Okay, so if we get the amount of cards, actually, okay, so after it builds it, this needs to be done on complete. So on complete, we need to get actors of class. It's going to be the card BP, and then forget the amount of cards. We need to do it to where every 2 cards is something different based off a selector. First, let's start with the 4 each. So this will be our total amount of cards. This will be some math here. All right. So if I have cards and I want to make them all different on the fly based off a set of cards. Oh, hey. If you got any ideas, let me know. Make it a memory match game. And right now I have a dynamically set grid. I can flip the cards. If they match, they stay flipped. If they don't, they flip back. And I'm wanting to make it to where the grid manager, the thing that builds all the cards out, will, after it does it, essentially set all the matches to where there's 2 of each and then shuffle them. You know what? Maybe I should just do it right when it's doing them. Let's try that to test it, just to get started on it here. So I'm gonna clear that out. That's not important anymore. Can't wait to hop on. Oh yeah. Well, you could have tonight if you responded sooner. Let's see. I'm probably almost done with what I'm going to do tonight, but I would love to create some sort of card shuffling. When we set the card that sets the location, what we're going to do is we're going to define the card type, and we're going to do it right here. Let's do a selector. Okay, this is a way to test it. So based off let's just return the child through this function here. It's not there. There. Seriously, though, if you have an idea, let me know. So that card, we're gonna return that because this is the tough part. Oh, I've got it named return value. Card ref. All right, and we can set the sprite. Okay, the name needs to be set off the sprite type. So set back. Where is it? Okay, so the back of card sprite is what I need to set. So I need to, let's get it first. That would make sense. Back of card. Yes, this is the Unreal Engine. And I'm making a memory match generator. So not just like, the point of this, any kind of like my memory match game, it's gonna be like a plugin to where anybody can just drag and drop their memory match stuff into it and use it for their game with their branding. So it's got to have a certain amount of abstraction to where it'll actually like be helpful, instead of someone having to like reprogram it just sort for their thing. So so essentially all the inputs have to be completely random. So I'm building to where I can add any amount in the grid I need, and it will auto space them, auto set them up. And so you can just essentially just type in what you want and it will work. That's the goal. And we are getting there. A lot of progress in a short amount of time. This is kind of the more complicated part, is I want to be able to add the matches and shuffle them on the fly. Card type knight. Okay, so I'm in the grid manager. I want to get the back. What? Is this not the right kind of reference here? Oh, it's not specific enough. I'll cast. All right. Now that we're going to set the back of card sprite to be we're just going to do random of this index, so that way kind of just testing the waters with it. It's random int from random int in range, and the range would be 0 to 1. So usually the select node would let me like just pick it from a drag and drop right there. I don't know why it's not letting me do that. That's what I was planning on doing, but this won't matter. Anyway. Oh, it's because it's a okay, wait. Then I need to set I don't need to set the sprite. I need to get the sprite. get the back of card sprite, and then I need to set the sprite. There we go. Okay, wait, no, that's the target. Yeah. And then that's why it's not working the way I want it to work. There we go. Now I can pick the sprite. And we're going to do rain and day. Why is that? Doesn't inherit from. Yeah, but like the child actor being added. Maybe I have to get the get class. There's a limitation of how I'm doing it. Add child actor. So that's a child. And get child actor. Okay, that's it. Something done like that. Okay. So now I'm casting, and then we're going to set the sprite randomly. And then now what I need to do is I'll begin playing the card. I need to make sure that if I need to get the card, get sprite, if it's equal to night. Is it cloudy night? What the heck did I even do over here? Grid, card. Nope, too much, too far. Set sprite. I did rainy day and partly cloudy day. Rainy day and partly cloudy day. Okay, so go back to the card. Rainy. Rainy day sprite. This is not a long-term solution. This is a short-term solution until I decide more on how I want to do this. But if it's true, if it's false. Okay, if it's true, we're going to call it rainy. If it's false, we're going to call it cloudy. All right, now we should actually have a memory match game. Oh! I'm looking at them backwards. They should flip back if they... I'm playing the game backwards. So that these will flip back because they don't match. And these will stay because they do match, and my points go to 2. The game is working, but I'm looking at it backwards. Well, I think the way to fix that is to just flip it around. I knew I was going to be messed up because I was doing day for the back. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now it's a memory match game. Boom. That doesn't match. That does match, so I get a point. That matches, I get a point. Doesn't match, so they flip back over. All right. Yeah, it is awesome, man. Learning on Unreal's really cool because it's not just making games. You can make anything in Unreal, like anything. It's really a gateway to any kind of 3D application you want to make. You can do it for iOS, Android, Mac, Linux. It doesn't matter. It's a window to creation. I had zero regrets learning it. Well, there we go. That is a working memory match game. Should I add anything more to it? So I definitely there's a lot more functionality that needs to be added. First off, this is pretty jank right now. But one thing I can do, well, you guys are deciding to tell me if I should add more functionality or not. One thing I can do is disable get player controller. There's a little jank. Okay, let's just actually go to the player controller. Let's build an event for it. Disable clicking. Enable clicking, because I might decide later down the road that everything needs to be more specific. If it's a plugin, if it's a marketplace asset and we're doing a plugin, then what I want them to change the player controller out. They can, because they essentially just load in the level. For now, I'm going to do it like this until I think of a better way to do it. Unless you guys have a better, more abstracted way. I want this to be able like a plugin one day where people can just drag and drop all these mini games into their stuff, rebrand it, auto generates, everything just works. They don't have to worry about it. And to do that, I don't necessarily want them to have to change their player controller, but I do need a way to okay, for my example, I will have to have a player controller that does it. They might have a different way that does it. So what I'll do is I'll go into Score Manager. I will abstract it one more step where they can just replace this to where disable input custom enable input. Then they can just swap out what these do. Disable input. Enable. I'm going to make that a timer eventually, but not right now. Oh, that actually. I don't want to disable all input. I just want to disable the cards input. So why don't I just affect the cards? That's what I'll do. But then I have to call all the cards. You know what? I'm making this too hard. We're just going to disable and enable input. The good old-fashioned way. For now. Not the best way to do it, but it should work. So now, here. Oh, I can flip them. That's what I don't want to happen. Is it because I didn't cast? Cast to PC. Gonna make this a pure cast. That's probably why. Bam, boom, boom. Oh, I can still clip before it. I should be able to. Score Manager. If anybody's got any questions, they're welcome to ask too. Well, I don't need to disable input. I need to disable clicking events. Now I shouldn't be able to mess up the game. So I can still mess up the game. No. Oh well, I'll worry about this later. Match. No match. It doesn't flip back after a no match anymore. I've really... That flipped back. That messed something up. What did I do? Alright. We're just gonna add this back the way it stupidly needs to be for now. Let's add some more cards to it. That's really what I should be doing. So if I just wait for everything. Okay. Adding multiplayer will be fun too. I don't know. I'm ready to do that tonight. I have an idea of what there was. Gamers got a specific vocabulary of learning. Can't, for some reason, I'm having trouble reading that on my monitor here. Learning curve for specific development. Yes, you can look. I'll add, in my other videos, I have a Discord link. I'll add my Discord link to this video in a minute when I'm done here. But yeah, that's we've got so much like my Discord's got stuff about the YouTube channel, but it's also got plugins I make and things. So like it's a place you can just talk about Unreal, and there's some people on there who might be able to help you, including me. So I'll put that link in afterwards. Let's see. So that does too. See, the thing is, I don't like, this is like a kind of a really janky way to do this, because it doesn't automatically grow. I could do an enumerator of card types, and then everybody just sets their card type. They just change their enumerator to be what they need it to be. That's probably a better solution. Unless somebody's got a better idea. We're going to add an enumerator. I can never remember. Oh, there it was. Yes, enumeration. Card types. We're going to do cloudy. We're going to do rainy. We're going to do clear, starry. Is that 2 R's? It's going to be for now. And we're going to do cloudy, rainy, starry. And what's one of my other pictures? Got rainy, cloudy, stormy. I think that was the guy's name we used to gig with back when I was on a band. He was in another band. Getting too old. I don't remember anything anymore. Okay. Gonna go to the card types. And then now... Yes, now this can be responsible for setting its own back. because we're gonna get a variable card type, and you should be able to change this on the fly pretty easily. You just have to build your enum to be the right way. I think this is a decent solution. I don't know if it's the best solution, but it's decent. Card types. All right. So we're going to get the card types. Then we're going to create a selector. And then we're going to get the back of card sprite. We're going to set. Wait. Boom. I'm just going to do that so that way it'll have the type in here. And now I'm going to set the sprite. And then the mixer only has to pick something random out of the enum. It only has to randomly set that. That's not so bad. Okay, so then cloudy. So we got clear night, rainy. Wait, I have clear for cloudy. Whoops. Partly cloudy day, starry night. And then we need to do stormy. All right. And then I can set the card type the same way. Can I get that? Get name? Is it name? Enum to name. And then maybe I can make that go to string. Haha, it's done. It's already done. We did it. Less work. There we go. Logical implication. So now when we go to the grid manager, when we make these automatically set, we don't need to set the sprite. We just need to set the enum. Now, I still don't have a way to make sure there's like an even number or only just two, but this is definitely a really good next step. So we set enum. But I need to random. So if I'm setting one randomly from an array, then I can choose, yes, yeah. I can essentially choose my frequency, starry. That'll do it. Stormy. And delete. Cloudy, rainy, starry, stormy. Compile. Save. Let's see. Doesn't match. Doesn't match. Doesn't match. Doesn't. Well, it matches, and I got a point. Doesn't match. Matches, got a point. It works. It did it. That's what I wanted. Okay. For anyone tuning in, I am shooting from the hip, making a game on the fly. The goal of these streams is to make whatever game y'all want me to make. Kind of started out a little empty, so I started making my own game. This is a memory match game. The goal is to be a plugin for anyone to use. And so right now the features we got, we can make this dynamically set. We can do 89 cards, and we can change the row length to be something like 15. And then, yeah, now we got this. I don't have anything special set for the pawn and the camera or anything like that. I'm more worried about the functionality of memory match, that people can just put it into their game. Obviously, it's a weird. Hey, whoa! I randomly picked divisible. That doesn't make it. I guess that works. Yeah. We can change the spacing. We can change anything we want. And so we can essentially build a grid of the game. Now the game dynamically sets, that's all the fronts of the cards. The game dynamically sets the back of the cards to be different every time I move it, because it's a constructor script. And it will flip the cards back over if they don't match. If they do match, those don't match. It's hard to tell because my lighting's really intense. That's a day and night. You can see in the top left hand corner what it's doing. I had a hard time finding a match right now. I need to actually pay attention. Oh, there we go. There's a match, and I got a point. And was that over there? Nope. I feel like Rainy was right here. Yeah, I was right. Got the idea for this. My daughter's super into memory match right now. She's gonna be really jazzed. I essentially built an endless memory match player. So to customize this, and I'm talking this out loud also just I need to figure out what the next step's going to be. To customize this, essentially you build an enumerator that has all the different possible types of cards, and then you go to your card BP and you essentially set it to where those pick what the color, what the picture will be. So then you magically have it set to where your pictures and your cards automatically match, and then you can go to your grid manager and you can decide what cards you're adding to it. Now the thing is it doesn't limit it to just 2. That's a whole nother function. So if anyone's got an idea for how to do that, I don't know if I'm going to do that tonight, but I would like it to where like maximum type of matches. So then it could like, maybe what it would do, that would interfere with the amount of cards if it's different. But we could set it to where the maximum amount of matches would be like, if we set that you can only have one of each card in there, it would be a bool where you could swap like how it builds it. So we could go, okay, you can only have one of each card. So then it comes into, and we'd name this card types. Then it would go to the different card types, and it would do 2 per. It would essentially go through these, and it would build 2 per those. That's an idea. That might be super easy. Barely an inconvenience. Okay, so let's see. Let's add, this is going to be a bool, and we're going to say max per type, max 1 match per type. And we're going to expose it. We're going to get it. So this still has to be, all that still has to be set. So we don't need the bool break until over here. This is where it gets different. Okay, so this, let's just collapse that to a function and call this big random. No, I would have to rebuild the loop to only do a loop of the enums. But that would be annoying because then I got to redo a lot of this math. I don't like redoing stuff I've already done. Unless I did a break in here. We can do a for each with break. For each loop with break. Not a for each loop with break. For loop with break. Boom. Okay, this is an event. This is a construction event. I will see if this will work the way I want it to. All right, so it grabs the card, it sets the card, it casts the card, and then it decides, is it one match per type? If false, then we're just going to do it like this. If true, then we're going to get the card type. Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm sure it's mad. I'm sure it's big mad. We're going to get the card type, and we're going to go for each loop. No. We're going to get okay, so we'd have to just essentially set it to add like 0, do 0 twice, 1 twice, 2 twice until it's done. And then so we need to get the last index and then so we're going to go, this is probably the last thing I'm doing tonight. We're going to get the last index and we are going to I need a variable. Yeah, definitely the last thing I'm doing tonight because I'm starting to get tired. Okay, we're going to do an integer. We're going to do index to pool. We're going to get the index to pool. Then we're going to do duplicate times index pulled. Actually, no, let's do a Boolean. Why did I name it bool? I'm definitely getting tired. Okay, we're doing first, wait, no. Second, true. Okay. And then we're going to get it. We're going to set enum card, set card type enum to that based off the index to pool, but the index to pool is going to be based off if this is the first or second. If that is, that's a confusing way to do it. Let's call this second. It'll be first. Okay, so if it's first, then we're going to do that, and we're going to, and then if it's the second, we're going to do the same thing, and then we're going to add it's going to be the same thing, but then we're going to add Caleb, I bet you're really angry at my spaghetti right now. The same thing, but then we're gonna add to the index to pool 1. So index to pool to equal +1. But we can't do that yet, because the first thing we need to do is make sure that the index to pool is not greater than or equal to the index length. If it is, then we need to break the loop. Ah, wrong button. Okay, let's see what happens. It's mad at me. Okay. 1 match per. Doesn't like me anymore. All right, so let's see what I broke. Oh, it's because... Okay, if you... That's got to end with that either way. Big spaghetti. Big spaghetti. Okay. All right, let's turn one match per is off. If I turn it on, it's still broken. I didn't change anything about that. Okay. So 1 match per, if it's false, then none of that's going to happen. It's just going to do what it's always done. Let's skip it. See what I broke. What? I don't think it likes that for loop with a break. Oh, it's because that broke. That's a big deal. Okay. Okay. That probably, yes. Yes, that's the problem. Okay. So if I set 1 match per true, that didn't change anything because I unhooked it. That's why. So grid manager. So right now I'm dividing the amount of cards by the row length. And if it's equal to 0, man, I had it working so nice. All right. I think what I'm going to do, I broke something. So I'm going to hit Control Z a whole bunch. I think that would work. I think I was really close to a solution. But I don't want to end off here with it broken. I think I'm just gonna... Oh yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for joining in. Super glad you enjoyed it. keep hitting Control Z. Almost there. Let's get this working again real quick. What it was is that for loop with a break. Really, I think something about that. I broke something in how I had it set up. Almost there. There. That's how it was set up. Okay, did making that a function break it? No, it did not. All right, so let's double click, check. Let's play one last time. Save all. So play. Hey, a match. Another match. Okay, I was like, are they all clouds? It's just the luck of the draw. Nope, I messed it up because I didn't do the disable input right. That's definitely, when I come back to this, unless everybody requests it, I'm probably not going to finish this one on stream. Because that's just, like, to me, all the fun parts are done now. Like, everything else is like, okay, we need to make a block user input. Or, okay, we need to, like, you know, like, all the dynamic stuff's built in. Like, we got the dynamic grid, we got the dynamic pictures, we got the dynamic scoring. See, I got a point. Rain, I got lucky. Another point. Let's see if I get lucky again. Nope. It's hard to tell probably because of the super bright light I have pointing at them. That one's a storm and one's just a cloudy day. That's a storm. That's a storm. 3. I could play this all day. But I can make this grow as many as I want, have whatever I want. It's all dynamic. I'm pretty happy with that right now. So, yeah, next time, y'all, I plan on doing these from time to time. Just whatever game ideas you have, leave them in the comments below. I want to make like a kind of a game jam thing where I spend just a few hours and just see if we can build your idea in a few hours. Just something functional. I want to actually get from A to B. So that was my goal for tonight, was to build a functional memory match game that was not just a memory match game, but also something that was super customizable, just very dynamic, where we could just build whatever we wanted on the fly. Let's lower the cards to 24 again, and the row length to 8. There we go. It's a nice number there. All right. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, comment below if you got any suggestions.